Hola, hola. Hyped. We hyphy. Who's hyphy? Let me know if you is hyphy. I'm hyphy. I'm poggers. I'm poggers. I'm loggers. I'm froggers. I'm crossing the street to climb into your ears. Shit, shit, skeet, skeet. I gotta find a pumpkin emoji. Anyone know where the pumpkin... has anyone seen the pumpkin emoji lying around anywhere? There we go. The tweet is complete. Hey, Deadleaf Clover, congrats on the 2,000 subscribers. Not sure if you're here, but I saw your tweet, and that's pretty sick. You made it early, Steve. Everybody welcome. Welcome each other. Shake hands. Oh, there's the pumpkin emoji. Thank you, guys. Greet your neighbors at the Buttersock cult. Give your... what if you came to church and your pastor or whatever was like, okay, greet your neighbors with a tongue kiss, and then you turn and then you see everyone doing it, you're like, what the fuck? And you turn to your side and you just see some like decrepit old body, just a dead zombie. Hi, it's good to see you, neighbor. Me Jane, oh yeah, these are good. This is Ryan Celsius Sounds. He's always streaming on YouTube. Makes a ton of sick ass remixes, trap mixes, also his own beats as well. Can I start doing boyfriend ASMR on another channel? I do have an ASMR channel. Let's Read ASMR. I never update it though, or do any content for it, but I feel like a boyfriend one would be really funny. I wouldn't be able to help but like make fun of it. Saying stuff like, I saw that you texted a guy named Daddy. Who the fuck is that? Oh, it's your actual dad? Sorry. Okay, fine. I thought I was Daddy. Venus Flytrap with the first dono of the night with $5 as dabs. Aw, yeah, spooky times too. Yeah, this is gonna be good, guys. These is trick is treat stories. You have no idea how to keep up with my chat. Debbie, you just gotta go for the ride. It's like trying to control a tidal wave. You just gotta ride it out, like a surfboarder. Letty Ramos with the 2 says, hey, how are you? Thanks for reading. Hey, you're welcome. You are welcome. I'm doing good, man. I slept most of the day away. It was an off day from the Jimmy, so it was just kind of like having some rest. Yes, Pam, please hip thrust that like button. Everybody hip thrust that like button if you can. Get it nice and pressed. And share this video out if you can. That always helps. It's always a good time when you let everyone else in the world know what you're doing on social media. They need to know. They need to know. Where are you? What are you doing? What are you doing 24/7? If we don't know what you're up to all the time, how can we keep tabs on you like a weird voyeuristic stalker? We need to know what you're up to constantly. The end of the vid should just be me screaming. Oh god. I blow out some ears. Who's a full-grown pizza? Andrea Z has become a full-grown pizza and a member of the Buttersock cult. Thank you, guys. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Andrea. Your dad. Aren't we all? Aren't we all? How old am I? I am 30. Dirty 30. Stacy with the 5 says, thank you for all you do. Love your talent. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you for the 5. It's good to see you and welcome back. Hey, Seb. You gotten 5 friends to start watching your videos the past week. Thanks for sharing. You're welcome. Thank you, Jessica. Yeah, well, guys, word of mouth. Sharing this via word of mouth to your friendos that you think would be into it. Even the ones that you might not expect to be into it, like your tough uncle who drives truck. He drives truck. Dude, he needs this to get him through the tedious overnight hours. Whenever he sees that black dog run across the road, he's going to ask that black dog to get in his car so they can befriend each other and listen. I'm 100. Yeah, I just hit 100 years old. Joel, stop messing around. What does this say? Oh, I can't read it anymore. It was like a weird ass. Something about something stinking in your house. I don't know. Honestly, I like the troll comments as long as they're not like vindictive. Some of them just go to some wild ass places. Shut up. The whole time you sound like you're in my early 20s. I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I just got one of them voices that can transcend time and space. Time and space. One of them little voices that likes to slide down slides. What will I be for Halloween? You guys still have to dress me up. You guys have to decide if I'm going as a sexy corona victim or a maybe like a sexy mail-in ballot. I don't know. Let's read. Let's read. After listening to these live broadcasts, I think you could be the next Joe Rogan and have your own podcast. Super excellent. Well, Zach, I actually do have my own podcast, but it's so, you know, you can find these stories and it's called the Let's Read podcast. It's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that kind of good stuff. And yeah, you know, it's not like talk show stuff like this, or not necessarily talk show, but it's not like, you know, bullshitting around and talking about stuff, but it's the same stuff you listen on here as far as content goes. But I always thought it'd be fun. Maybe I could transfer all the audio from these live streams to a thing, you know? You never know. Could be a good time. Andrea Z says, I've been listening to your videos every night for 2 years. Love, love, love your voice. Thank you, Andrea, and thank you. What are RONs? 25 RONs to US. Oh, Romania. Thank you for the Romanian Lou equals. Or, oh, okay, just Romanian Lou. It's like they had the word equals in there. Thank you, thank you. The Let's Read late night show. Late night with Let's Read. Sexy Skelly Man. Patricia, you haven't fallen asleep yet. Good. You're just in time. We're kicking this off. Even though I always tell everyone to hit that notification bell to be alerted of when new narrations pop up. You know, because there's 3 different layers, I think, of like notification bell. You can be notified, but then there's ones where it's like the 3rd layer, top tier notifications that literally vibrate your innards to let you know that Let's Read is live. You're going to want to hit that one. But if not, join my Discord, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Usually Twitter is where you're going to get the most consistent notifications, as long as also Discord, since that does, you know, at all for whenever I go live, which is dope. And then, of course, my meme page. That's not really going to help you other than make you have a giggle. Gemma, welcome back with the 5, says, hey, Joe, hope you're okay. I'm unable to work this year, so maybe you can keep us entertained on the 31st. Shoot, you know what? I'm thinking about it. What do you guys think about a little bit of a drinky drink little bit of a drunky drunk stream. I don't know how you feel about that one. If I can even open up the YouTube studio. Does it still keep track? Welcome to the new YouTube live control room. When do you want to go live? Right now. Get set up to live stream now. Don't worry, you'll have a chance to review settings before you're live. Oh. If I click that, wait. Oh, fuck. Wait, did I just start another stream? Oh, fuck. I think I did. Okay, that was the exact opposite of what I wanted to do, and now I'm confused. Dude, YouTube's fucking system pisses me off so much, dude. Like, they just have... Oh my god, it was totally fine here, and now this is just gonna confuse people. Alright, now for me to stop talking and now fucking waste my... Okay, oh, there's a manage button. Please let me click that. WTF. Okay. Sweet. Wait. Fuck. Okay. Yeah, let me know if another stream thing like pops up, because, or like another stream channel, because that would be confusing as hell. YouTube just like has too many fucking buttons, you know what I mean? But basically the reason I went there was because I was thinking like if I did like a drunk stream, I'd want to keep track of like how much was donated, because that's kind of what we did for the birthday stream situation. But just let me know if another stream channel opens up that looks like I'm live somewhere else, because it just confuses. But yeah, I think that the 31st is a Saturday. Let me double check that. It is a Saturday, so I'll release a video there, but then also do a stream that Saturday, probably reading the stories that come out that Monday maybe, or something like that. That would be dope. Maybe I could drink that same fucking shit we did last time, that peanut butter whiskey. Steve Harrington with a 3 says, broke, but this is for Pradeep's catnip supply. Steve, thank you so much, man. He does appreciate it. He goes buck wild on catnip. It's actually kind of hilarious. He smells it and just is like instantaneously like jonesed up. And Gemma with the 2 says, sound good to me. I work at a scare farm. Oh, okay. Yeah, those places probably got shut down. Drunken Horseman's Drunky Drunk. Uh-oh. Nick Newman with the 2 says, what are you listening to? This is Ryan Celsius Sounds. He's a trap hip-hop sort of... He makes mixes and stuff like that. He's a really awesome YouTube channel and just artist in general. And this mix is called Trappin' in Japan 7. He's the best. Oh shit. Patricia with the 1177 for keeping me company and making me watch streams at 3 a.m. You're welcome. Thank you so much for the 1177. I appreciate that. Oh, you joined the Discord but can't figure it out. You feel old. That's okay. The Discord's just like it's just a fun little thing to just chat. Pretty much like whatever's going on in this chat here, you can just continue that on over in Discord. There's a voice channel where I jump in, but usually I'm not in there till like super late. And when I'm just kind of like bored and editing and I want to like chat with people. But sometimes nobody comes in, which is kind of sad. But in the general chats, usually got people talking, people posting their just different stuff they're doing, selfies, stuff they've done that day. And art and all that kind of stuff. A lot of art people have made is crazy cool. You know, I'm gonna go to my... Yeah, if I go to my channel... Okay, yeah, it doesn't appear that there's... Okay, it's just, there's just one live channel, which is good. Okay, I was almost a little worried that that was gonna create a whole nother live channel, which would have been very confusing. Brooke C with the 5 says, I'm glad I found an awesome stream smoking my medicine and trying to relax. Do you like Comethazine? I like a lot of his older stuff. Oh, as an artist. Oh, I thought you meant... I guess I'm thinking of promethazine. The Phenergan stuff that they put in grape drink to keep them from getting nauseous. Or no, is it lean? I don't know. Same shit, I guess. But that sounds so familiar, but I cannot think of anything that he's made. Comethazine, Derek Jeter, We Gon' Win, Air Max. I'd have to play some of his songs to remember it. Nothing's coming to mind. I'm feeling a bit like a boomer there. But thank you for the 5, Brooke. And Gemma with the 5 says, Joe, I say my name right in one message and wrong in the next. I know. My brain's just like 9 different places at once, but I'm sorry, Gemma. Remember, Gemma, like the gem. A bag of gems, a bag of jewels. The Emperor of the Night with the 20 says, thanks for the stories. You're welcome, my friend. Thank you so much for the big old $20 donation. That's huge. Thank you, thank you. Ashley loves Young Gravy. Who's Young Gravy? Is that who's playing right now? Oh, this is Gravy. Rub-a-dub-dub in the tub with my little ducky. Feeling lucky. I'm about to plucky the feathers off it. Drink some coffee. Holy shit, Miss Molly with the 5 says, Joel, my love, how are you? I'm doing pretty well. I'm glad you like my badass selfies in Discord. Thank you. You're welcome. No, those were awesome. I like the style. I like the style. And thank you so much for the 5. It's good to see you back. We're going to be kicking off these Trick or Treat stories in about 2 minutes. And it's going to be sick. I'm pretty stoked for them. Who is this Young Gravy? Baby Gravy? Oh. That's what I would have named myself as a rap star, Baby Gravy. That would have been fucking hilarious. Gemma with the 1. I think she's just testing me now. Drunken Horseman, you're feeling nocturnal. Same here. I am stuck on the nocturnal. Of course, last night, the reason my sleep got so fudged up was because I ate a bunch of peanut butter and like literally triple-decker peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, like around, I don't even know, 10 or 11, and then I passed out hard at midnight, but only till about like 2:30, and then like stayed up dicking around till like 7 a.m. and then I passed out till I'm living my sleep schedule is like that of a fucking like 8th grade summer. It's bad news. Travis Blankard with the 5s. I've been watching since Pogo. The fact you don't disappoint says a lot. Keep it up, bro Obama. Thank you, Travis. What was Pogo? Oh, the clown. Holy shit. That just like had a flashback. Yeah, dude, Pogo was so long ago. I wonder if that's even still up. Thank you. Thank you for sticking around. That is... Yeah, we beat... You know, I'm just grinding. Just on that grind. Travie Caddy. Oh, I'm sorry, Nora. I can't see... I literally can't see everybody's questions all at the same time, man. Sometimes the chat goes by fast and I get distracted. If I miss your guys' questions, it's really... I'm not trying to be offensive or anything like that. I just, you know, I only have 2 eyes. Architect with the 7 Canadian maple syrup dollars. Thank you, Architect. If you had a message you wanted to throw on there, just at me. You have a handful of 2005 Barbies for sale, $50 a pop. Let me know. All right, Nicole. I will deeply consider it. And Gabriela Garcia with the 2 says, you on Facebook blind and IG and Reddit not accessible. I don't know what that message says at all, to be honest with you. You on Facebook blind and IG and Reddit not accessible. Like the links to the... I'm not really sure. Yeah, I don't really post on my Facebook for Let's Read. Offended. Everyone gets offended, but nobody ever gets e-fended. That's when you get offended electronically. Yarrow with the 5 says, hi Joe, hope you're doing well. Thanks for keeping me entertained while I continue packing up my house. Give Perdip some love for me. I will. I got his bed all set up here for him, but he was in the room prior to the stream starting. And then walked out to get some Wawa and some food. Probably take a nice cat shit. Pogo is his clown personality. You got offended, e-fended, a-fended. Oh, a-fended would be good. It's like the absence of being fended. I'm fended. Stacy, thank you for the share. I appreciate it. Well, guys, we have arrived. We're at about 400 people, which is pretty sweet. We're getting that about that average for a lot of the streams. And I'm going to be kicking off these trick and or treat stories. What would you guys rather have, a trick or a treat, or both? Let me know in the comments below. But once again, if you like this music, this is Ryan Celsius Sounds. Dope beat maker and remix composer. The man, the myth, the legend, Ryan Celsius Sounds. But we're going to switch over. We're going to switch it to a little bit of a spooky mode if you guys are prepped and ready for that. A little Iron Cthulhu apocalypse. And the abrupt change. And there it is. Okay. My voice is so buttery. Thank you. I've been gargling butter all day. Gemma with a 5 says, how do I have to join Twitter? I was listening to the Pogo last message tonight, because I spend more on you than I do the women I never remember. You know, thank you for that. Do you have to join Twitter? You don't have to join Twitter. Oh, to like follow me on there? I mean, you can go onto Twitter and look at people's tweets without having an account, I do believe. But if you wanted to like make an account that you can follow and get notifications for, you know, you would have to create an account. But do I play Among Us? I have a few times with some friends here and there, but I'm not really as into it as a lot of people. It seems like everybody's kind of addicted to it right now, and I'm not quite on that train, so to speak. Architect with the 7 Canadian maple syrup bucks says, I can't wait for Halloween stories because I've been following your YouTube for so long now and I can't sleep without your stories. Oh, nice. Yeah, actually there is some Halloween stories that are already up and bopping. If you guys haven't checked those out, it's actually doing really well. I think it's actually hit over 100,000 views, 100,000 hits, as they say, which is pretty sick. So I really appreciate you guys going. Yeah, it's 112K, which is sweet, and I hope I'm gonna be trying to hit at least 4 different Halloween related content as we progress through October here. This will be number 2. Does Let's Read have groupies? Just you, Barbie, just you.
Hey, listen.
Okay. Hey, Ivana Spencer with a big $20 donation says, don't think I've sent my gratitude monies to my fave narrator late. Well, thank you, Ivana. Thank you, thank you. I really appreciate that, seriously. Okay, I think we are all caught up there. Guys, thank you so much for your support thus far already in the stream. We're already banging it out. And, oh, wait. Yes. Okay, we're all organized here. Ready? You guys ready for some spooky dookies? As always, like I said, follow me on Twitter at Let's Read Creepy, Instagram Let's Read.official, my meme page, Horny Computer, and yeah, if you guys got a story, please submit them. Especially at this time of year for the Halloween stuff, please submit them to reddit.com/r/letsreadofficial, or you can email them to me at letsreadsubmissions@gmail.com. That would be dope. I don't know if there's any other announcements I've completely forgotten about. Jennifer Timmons with the 5 says, it's my B-day. Can I get a happy birthday? Absolutely, Jennifer. Happy birthday to you. Everybody say happy birthday to Jennifer. I can't believe that. I feel like you mentioned that before leading up to it, but I completely spaced. Do I submit to you? Yeah, people, you can send me your memes too on Horny Computer, because hey, Yumi. Yeah, send your memes too, because I need as much meme content as I can, because I feel like that's almost like more demanding than like reading sometimes, because memes like come and go so fast. Asherella, what is up? Okay. So like I said, we got 6 trick-or-treat stories. Dude, the hologram is so dope. Thank you. Yeah, it's really cool. And I don't know, it's just such a cool idea. Like when people donate, like the thing that pops up is a hologram on the other thing, and I just think that's such a neat little thing. Me and my chilling in my space station out in Spas. Okay, let's do it. I gotta record about 10 seconds of silence before we start, just to make sure that I can remove the background noise later. It's Halloween night of 2007, and me and my little circle of friends are all serious horror fanatics. We've just gotten done watching that Rob Zombie remake of Halloween at a local movie theater, having been snuck into a showing of it by my older sister's boyfriend, even though we were way too young to be in there. It's not a brilliant movie, I guess, but we didn't give a good goddamn. That's what it says, but I don't know if I should say good goddamn. We didn't give a good goddamn. How do you become a creepypasta reader like me? What do you guys think? I guess first you just gotta get a microphone. You know, some people start with like the Blue Yeti scenario. It seems to be the most affordable. You can use programs like Audacity to record for free. Potentially an editing software of sorts. I use Sony Vegas, but I would suggest maybe something else. And yeah, just get a plan before you go into it, I mean, at the end of the day, doing something is better than doing nothing at all, you know what I mean? Or worrying about something being perfect, so just putting yourself out there, You're practicing your color theory. Nice. It's not a brilliant movie. Whoops, a brilliant. It's not a brilliant movie, I guess, but we didn't care, because we're about to go trick-or-treating in a neighborhood where Halloween is a huge deal. Every kid for miles around was going to be walking the streets in their spookiest costumes, streets that were decked out in decorations so lavish that it'd make even the wealthiest theme parks blush. The parents in our area seemed to turn the whole thing into something of a competition, which made for a very, very spooktacular atmosphere. Needless to say, we were pumped. We all make our way back to our various parents' house, put on our different costumes, then meet up at the end of our street to begin our undead shuffle around the neighborhoods. It was honestly one of the most memorable nights of my life. I can barely describe the kind of youthful excitement that possessed us that evening. It was absolutely electric. And since our costumes were tip-top, we absolutely cleaned up on the candy front. Some houses were called at... Oops. Some houses we called at gave us a few extra handfuls because we were just so excited to be trick-or-treating. At one point, one of my friends hid just out of view from the door of the house we called at. At one point, one of my friends hid just... Sorry, that sounded weird. What's the names of Let's Read's cat? Perdeep. Perdeep. At one point, one of my friends hid just out of view from the door of the house that we knocked on. Some mom and dad couple answered the door, smiling and wishing us an enthusiastic happy Halloween after we gave them our best trick-or-treat. Then, just as they're about to give us a handful of fun-sized candy bars, my friend jumps out at them from around the corner, wearing his awesome-looking werewolf mask, and makes the loudest howling noise you could ever wish to hear from a 14-year-old kid whose voice hadn't quite dropped yet. The dad of the couple was absolutely scared out of his skin, backing off from the doorway with this girlish wah-sounding scream. The mom freezes for a second, all wide-eyed and shocked before she just bursts out laughing at her husband's reaction. The dad's all like, "You kid, you scared the life out of me, man." But kind of starts cracking up too, which then just makes the mom laugh even more. Everyone is laughing to themselves at this point. It's a super wholesome moment, and it's something I'll remember fondly for the rest of my life. And thanks to the efforts of our werewolf buddy, we each got an extra handfill. Face reveal. Probably not. Probably never will do a face reveal. Just not in the mood. Probably you'll just have to focus on the... Maybe my voice can create some sort of face. Some sort of ambiguous, disembodied mug. And thanks to the efforts of our werewolf buddy, we each got an extra handful of fun-sized bars in our candy sacks. It was a win-win scenario. So a little while later, we're all walking around still, our candy sacks absolutely stuffed with goodies that are probably going to last until December if we ration them right, and if we keep the stashes well hidden from the sticky fingers of our older siblings. We're not entirely bored yet. Well hidden. Whoops. I lost track of where I am. No one's counted mistakes for me in like a while. I wonder. I feel like I'm gonna make a lot tonight. We're not entirely bored yet, but the conversations have started wandering way beyond where we might be able to hit the mother lode of candy next. That's when someone brings up a particularly scary story. I don't mean, ooh, super spoopy skeleton story. I mean like legit terrifying. One of my buddies starts telling me the urban legend of the evil woman who got so sick of trick-or-treaters calling at her house on Halloween. One of my buddies starts telling me the urban legend of the evil woman who got so sick of trick-or-treaters knocking on her house on Halloween that she gave them all poisoned candy and ended up killing a bunch of kids as a result. Scary enough, considering what we were doing, but totally not true, right? Wrong. Another of my buddies is all like, "Nah, dude, that's a true story." and tells us how that stuff actually happened like back in the 80s or something. Apparently, and I did look this up myself later on to confirm it, this poor kid gets given a poisoned pixie stick while on his trick-or-treating rounds. He eats the candy inside, totally unaware of the sugar crystals inside are actually laced with cyanide. Yep, cyanide. Like one of the deadliest poisons known to man, same stuff Hitler swallowed to end his own life at the end of World War II. Then boom, the kid froths at the mouth and dies. It was no urban legend at all. That stuff legit happened for real. Then our buddy goes on to tell us that it wasn't some evil old lady that did the poisoning. It was his own dad that did it for some insurance thing. Like he took out life insurance on his kid, murdered him, then tried to claim on it. Sick, right? Seriously disturbing story, and obviously we're all actually terrified by the prospect of it. We're walking along, actually wondering aloud to each other if we'd called at anyone's house who seemed weird enough to actually do that. There was no seemingly evil old ladies that night, but one of us starts joking that maybe, just maybe, the dude who we'd scared was actually angry at us, and the extra candy that we'd been given had been laced with something to get revenge. Spooky prospect, I'm sure you'll agree, but a dumb one nonetheless. No one would actually lace candy with poison and give it to kids, which someone actually says aloud at one point. Then, not 20 minutes later, we decided to dip into our candy halls a little early to sample some of the evening's well-earned delights. We're all chowing down when, suddenly, my buddy Tyler starts telling us how he doesn't feel so good. He hadn't eaten any candy up until just a few moments before, so it's not like he could have had a stomachache from that. We're asking him if he's okay, if he needs to sit down, and if we need to get him some water from a nearby house or something. But he can barely respond other than to tell us that he feels dizzy and wants to go home. He then walks over to the curb and almost collapses down onto the grass, beginning to violently cough as he does so. And that's when he starts getting scared. I remember being all like, "Come on, man, stop faking it, dude. This isn't funny. Stop it." But he doesn't stop, and deep down I could tell he wasn't faking it. I can't feel my tongue," he suddenly says, and my heart just stopped in my chest. All I could think about was the candy poisoning story, how we'd been unlucky enough to actually run into someone evil enough to give us candy that had been laced with something toxic, or maybe even deadly. "Oh my god, dude, it's poison candy," I remember saying out loud, which was incredibly stupid because not only did the three of us who were okay start to lose our minds out of fright, but Tyler started seriously panicking too, which obviously made his symptoms worse. Then, unbelievably, I actually watched as Tyler's face started to go all red and swell up, like his head was on its way to exploding right in front of us. One of us had ran off to get some help from a nearby house by then, though, banging on the front door and screaming for help as the rest of us watched Tyler hold his stomach and begin retching. We told him that he'd be okay, that we'd get him some help, but honestly, I thought I was going to watch one of my best friends die that night, murdered at the hands of some mystery poisoner who would probably get away with the crime and go on to kill countless others. I imagined this mass funeral of kids from our town, all victims of the Halloween poisoner. The national press would get involved, the FBI. It would all go on for weeks and weeks while the town mourned the largest mass poisoning in the history of the USA. That's all that was rushing through my 14-year-old head, pure terror and speculation. But I mean, could you blame me? I was literally watching my friend's head swell up right before my very eyes, and then Tyler passed out. He was just that, unconscious, but I thought he was dead, and I was holding back, whimpering in tears by the time a pair of grown-ups ran out from the house nearby before running back inside to call 911. It was a terrible scene after that. A big crowd gathered to watch, even more showing up and gawking at the morbid scene when the ambulance showed up and stretched Tyler into the back of it. We couldn't go with him to the hospital, not realizing that the paramedics could find a way to contact Tyler's mom and dad once they had his name, which he had obviously given them, We were devastated at the idea of having to call round at their houses to tell them the horrible, horrible news that their son had died in front of us. It was horrendous, truly horrifying, and one of the most memorable nights in my life suddenly got so much more memorable, but for all the wrong reasons. We headed over to Tyler's parents' house, but no one was home. We thought that we'd been sorry. I was on kind of a streak there. Yeah, I'm having a feeling that this kid's probably allergic to something in the bag. Inga Moonchild has become a full-grown pizza and a member of the Buttersock called. Everyone welcome Inga. Thank you, thank you. And Melissa Marino with the 5. I'm so excited I just moved to my new home. Hey, congratulations, Melissa. That's freaking cool. That's got to be like a great feeling just to pull into your new home and, I don't know, just to think of the future that you're going to have there. Poisoned penis. You get a penis allergy. We thought we'd been spared the job of breaking the awful news to them, but in actual fact, they had already gotten the call that Tyler was at the hospital and had headed over to be with him. I told my parents what happened when I got home. Through ugly tears, I described the dizziness, the coughing, the wheezing, and the puking. My mom, who used to be an EMT back when she was in college, gave me this weird, knowing look, then headed off to get in touch with Tyler's parents while I went up to my room and cried myself to sleep. I was shaken awake a few hours later by my dad, who had some news for me. Some good news. Tyler wasn't dead, and neither was poison the reason why he'd had the terrible episode on the curb that night. You see, Tyler had an allergy, specifically to gelatin, something which is found in a lot of candies, cakes, ice creams, and yogurts. Tyler knew not to eat anything like that and had to agree to go through his candy haul with his parents later that evening so they could weed out anything that might give him a reaction. But what he didn't know was... Winter has become a full-grown pizza and a member of the Buttersock. Thank you, Winter. Welcome, welcome. It's good to see you. Everyone give Winter a kissy. Poison stepbro. What are you doing to my candy, stepbro? But what he didn't know, what I didn't know, and what many of you there might not know, is that some cereals contain gelatin. Yep, cereals. God knows how or why that might be the case, but it is. So as it turns out, Tyler sifted through his candy and found some chocolate cereal bar type thing and assumed that he could eat it. Fun fact, Tyler also checked the label himself to see if the thing contained any gelatin, but didn't realize that some products use different types for gelatin. Things like hydrolyzed animal protein, collagen hydrosylate, or denatured collagen. Obviously, 14-year-old Tyler was not a nutritional scientist and had no idea that these terms were pure semantics and that he was eating gelatin. But still, Tyler could have gone into anaphylactic shock. His throat what the fuck? Mr. KW Jones with the big $20 donation says, I've been in your chat most nights. I work on documentaries. I have been letting my producer listen to your voice. Would you be interested in doing voiceover for a documentary? And if so, how could we get in contact? Holy shit, wow. That's so cool. Yeah, I would absolutely be interested in that. We literally in chat always talk about, like, I'm going to be the new voice for Forensic Files, or, just jokingly, but that, yeah, I would love that. That would be so neat. But yeah, I mean, you can contact me pretty much any way you'd like, either over social media. My email, that's, I guess, would be a more kind of straightforward professional, would be letsreadsubmissions@gmail.com, and that should be located, I think, down below. But on pretty much every video, I have that listed, and then I think in the about section of the channel itself. So yeah, you can find that in there. But yeah, that would be so neat. Yeah, any way you'd like to get in contact, I'm super interested. Love to hear more there. So holy cow. And everybody in the chat gets to, you get to see it here first, baby. It's going down. This is where it all started. Oh wow, we're at 666 viewers too. Perfect timing. Well, that would be cool too, because if I get involved in something like that, that would be sick. Because then I could, we could promote the documentary and stuff through here to all 666 viewers. Gemma with the 2 says the new UK plastic notes contain pig gelatin. Okay, good. Yeah, you would hope that they would update that kind of stuff. I didn't even know gelatin was an allergy. I figured that they were going to say, like, this kid had, like, a nut allergy or something like that. And, like a nut allergy or something. And he just, how, like, some kids just don't give a fuck. They just want a Snickers bar or whatever, and they're just going for it. I felt really bad. Did I just light up? I did not, no. Maybe my personality lit up there a bit. But what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, I felt so bad. I made this, like, really good dessert the one time, the one for, like, Thanksgiving at my Friendsgiving. And it was basically, like, a bunch of grapes mixed with, like, cream cheese and sour cream. But it actually was really good. But then it also had, like, a bunch of, like, ground up almonds and stuff in it too, to be like the top layer type scenario. And then you just, like, dig into it, and it's really, really good. But I felt bad because apparently my friend has developed an almond allergy. And because of how many almonds were in mine, it, like, sort of exacerbated his allergies to the extent that he had a really, really fucking bad reaction and, like, was, like, vomiting and, like, he thought I, like, poisoned him or something like that, which I don't blame that, but that's what it turned out to be. But it's just funny because he hadn't had that allergy for pretty much ever, or maybe, like, minor reactions, and then that now every time he consumes even a little bit of almond, because he was doing the ketogenic diet for a while as well, and or I think he still is, but basically a lot of different stuff, like substitute almonds for, I guess, different structural instead of certain carbs, and now he can't even eat those because he'll have a reaction. So I just tried to kill him a little bit. No big deal. That's how you know you're good friends. Breaking news, Riley Reid, allergic to nut. She just developed it. Poor girl. Poor girl. Everybody hashtag pray for Riley. No nut. We're almost at No Nut November. We'll get there. And it's not for... We should, do a No Nut November, but not related to what you think it means. It means we're sitting in... what are they called? Consolidation? Not consolidation. What's that? I don't know. Where you're like chilling with someone who's struggling with something or whatever, and it just so happens to be nut allergies. I don't know the fucking word. But still, Tyler could have done... fuck. Herbert Small with the 2 says, favorite Halloween candy? I mean, definitely Reese's. I just love all things peanut butter chocolate, and Reese's in particular. It's so fucking good. I used to, like... The one thing that I did to myself as a kid... solidarity. That's in solidarity with nut allergen folk. Consolate. Yeah, something like that. Quarantine. There it is. Hashtag no nut November. Solidarity with the nut allergy folk. But yeah, like... Oh, dude, my brain's broken and I can't even think what the fuck I'm talking about. Like, I'm looking at the story, then looking at chat, and then, like, whatever, like, independent thought that I have is going on in my brain just gets, like, completely forgotten, so... That's cool. Steve with the 5 says, my penance for my couple of off-color comments. More to come. Your penance. That's alright. This whole stream is very Uh, Controversial. But still, Tyler could have gone into anaphylactic shock. His throat could have closed over and he could have suffocated, right? Again, wrong. He was never in any real danger of this happening, but because only really does... What? Sorry, this is a weird fucking sentence. Again, wrong. He was never in any real danger of this happening because only rare... Oh, I see. Okay. It's my fault. Do I have ADD? You know, I don't think so because, like, you know, and I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't really understand ADD. I know it has to do, because I remember I try to discuss this with people, and I don't think I don't want to comment on it because I don't have, like, a very scientific understanding of what it is. I've heard people say that it's like a dopamine imbalance, you know, within your brain or whatever. I did well in school. I didn't enjoy school, you know what I mean? But I did well in school. So, like, I know that people with ADHD and that kind of thing at a young age really struggle with school or difficulties, like, paying attention. I'm a pretty good, like, conversation haver with independent people and, like, you know, conversations in groups and that kind of thing. So I don't think I've struggled with that, but I think sometimes with as fast as chat moves, it's like my brain's trying to process, like, 30 different, you know, sentences at once while also, like, thinking about, like, subconsciously the story in the background, and then also, like, having independent ideas going, and then once in a while they all just mangle together, and I'm like, what the fuck was I talking about? And I say whatever and just keep reading. So that's that. But people have asked that before, if I'm, like, dyslexic or have ADHD, and I don't think so. I really don't think so, because within the sort of, like, societal construct of school, I've never really had many difficulties, I suppose. Yeah, I have ABCD, yeah. Again, wrong. He was never in any real danger of this happening because only rarely does an allergic reaction to gelatin do that. Very rarely. Not like nut allergies, which can actually straight up kill you. Tyler just got taken to the hospital, given some antihistamines, and was kept overnight so the doctors could monitor his condition. So, in the end, everything was okay. No one died, and there was no mass poisoning in our town that year, but still... What happened that night was one of the most horrible events of my entire childhood, and I'm pretty sure you can all understand why. Merlin Emery's with a 5. Thank you, Merlin. That's a cool-ass name. I hope that's a real name, honestly. And Captain Mercury with the 5 says, read a story in Chill's voice. I don't know if I could do Chill's dirty like that. That'd be taking up a lot of time. Reading the entire thing. Yeah, I know that there's a lot of people, like, I've seen the diagnoses of ADHD pop up in a lot more this generation, I guess, because of, like, either a more clear definition or maybe even a widened definition as to what signifies ADHD. But I think maybe perhaps I would hope a better degree of understanding of what it is. So I'm sure a lot of you that either struggle with it or are more familiar with it as the science has progressed could probably do a better job of explaining it to me, because, yeah, you know how it goes. I don't know if any anti-inflammatory diet would help, but it's worth a try. Maybe, yeah. I mean, avoiding any sort of inflammatory type food consumption is always a good thing. Am I good at math? I was good at math when I would do it in repetition. But the one thing that was frustrating me about math is that I always kind of I was just lazy. I definitely would consider myself lazy when it came to school until, like, there was pressure to do well. Like as soon as there was pressure to do well, where it was like, if you don't fucking study right now for the remainder of the night, and then go and get, a B or an A on this test tomorrow, you will fail, kind of thing, which happened a lot in nursing school when I did nursing school and stuff. I was much better at getting work done under pressure and that kind of thing. So when it came to like math, where you kind of like, from what I remember, it was a lot of repetition. Like it was like they teach you some random bullshit, some new technique on solving a particular equation or whatever, but like you would have to go home and do all your homework to like figure it out. It was very frustrating because I did not have the work ethic or like the desire. I'd much rather go like play Halo or some shit. Obviously, I think that's pretty much just every fucking kid ever, you know what I mean, back in the day. Or every human being ever would probably rather go play Halo than do a fucking series of 900 goddamn algebra questions. You wish Joel was your nurse. Yeah, that was my profession prior to YouTube. So this is my job now, but I was prior. I was a sexy nurse, 24/7, 365. When you die, you want me to be your nurse and read some stuff? I'll read you into the afterlife. Random bullshit equals chocolate pudding. Lol. Everybody's ready for their sponge bath. Time for a sponge bath. We actually had these. They were kind of sweet. Like whenever you would do the sponge bath for people. Well, I mean, it technically wasn't a sponge bath, and sometimes you did have to do sort of like you had a basin of like hot water with, a washcloth and all that kind of stuff. But the one thing that made it really easy for people is that you had like these heating packs. These they're almost, just imagine like cloths that were disposable. You couldn't flush them down a toilet. They would destroy the septic system at the hospital, so that was always a big no-no. But basically they were like heated, and you would grab a bunch of them and just like clean the fuck out of somebody and then just throw them in the trash and stuff. So it was kind of like a modern sponge bath, but apparently the liquid that was like kind of built into them was, I guess, good for your skin and shit. I don't even remember what the fuck was in it, to be honest. But yeah, nursing's weird. I mean, it's definitely a good job, and I think everybody who is kind of like young and are like, and they have that heart for that, like it's a good job. And I mean, it's probably weird now because I heard it's like kind of hard to get some jobs at different hospitals and stuff, because like for a while, like because of like the kind of like economic shutdown, a lot of people actually lost their job, which was kind of shitty. And then once they reopened, it was like it's just been a complex process trying to get everybody back to their original positions or getting new people into positions. But it's a good job. Basically nursing, depending on your specialty, it's just a very messy job. You know what I mean? Like, it's just imagine every like human fluid you could deal with, and that's just like your day-to-day thing, And it's almost like, there are like serious things you have to deal with, but a lot of it is just being like an adult babysitter for the most part, Dr. Joel, check my prostate. It's the size of a basketball. What the hell? Whatever's in those wipes, they smell bad. Yeah, I don't think they weren't the most pleasurable, I recall, as far as scent goes. Can't handle it. I remember the thing I hated the most about nursing was like, you'd be having a great fucking day. Oh, you just got off of just everywhere, just drenched. That's actually what was in the wipes, was just human seed. But anyways, like, you would just be having a great fucking day, everything's going cool, And then you got work later. You know, I had like work at the hospital later or something like that. And then I would go in and you get, you know, with nursing, you get like report. So you like, there's another nurse that you're taking over her shift. You know, you're taking over as the night shift or whatever the shift you work. And, you know, you come in and you get report about your like 6 patients that you're going to take on for the night and stuff, and just write down everything they tell you about them. So then it kind of like prepares you and matches up. Sampai, that's why I left. But then, you know, it was just so frustrating sometimes to like come into a complete mess. You know what I mean? Like the second shift was just like so busy that they couldn't keep up with certain aspects, and then you came in and you kind of had to like clean up people's issues, or you know, not even just, you know, the like physically messy stuff, but just like all the like side logistics, dealing with family, you know, communicating with someone, getting them a particular medication they need. And it's just a lot of like multi-managing, you know what I mean? Or like, you know, task management skills and time management skills and all that kind of bullshit. And it's very stressful to just like kind of have no idea who any of these people are like 15 minutes ago. And then you come into work and like within that 15 minutes, all of a sudden you need to like know everything about them. And you are like personally responsible for everything that goes on in their life for the next 8 to 12 hours. You know what I mean? So that was a little frustrating, but at the same time, it's definitely a good job. It keeps you on your toes. The one thing I noticed was that like some nurses, like old elder nurses, they would work until they were fucking like into their 70s. You know what I mean? We didn't have a lot of nurses like that, but there was a lot of nurses who just would stick around and just work until they were fucking dead. You know what I mean? Like there was this one nurse we had who, she was, you know, sharp as a whip, an old battle axe, as they say, you know, and like she just didn't take no shit and just got her job done, and she was good at what she did. Then one day all of a sudden she just like, I don't know, got sick and fucking didn't come in, and we found out like randomly, she said, oh yeah, she has pancreatic cancer and she's dead. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right, fuck, you know what I mean? It was just like, I don't know, that was one of the weird things, is that like getting connected with random coworkers, and then they would just kind of like, not all of them would die obviously, but just like it's weird when people move on to different stuff, you know, some of them, you know, the afterlife. But a psychiatric nurse in the prison, yeah, that to me would be very, I don't know if I could, I mean, I don't know how that would handle. I had a few, you know, prisoners and stuff in my time, and thankfully they weren't too bad, you know, because we had guards and stuff to like help with everything, but sometimes they were a bit much, you know. Fry, holy shit, that's funny. Okay, let's do this next story. So this isn't just my scariest trick-or-treating story. This is the story of the scariest thing that has ever happened to me in my entire life. It's not some dumb story about ghosties or ghoulies or anything supernatural like that. It's something very real and very tangible that left me seriously messed up for a long, long time. My parents arranged counseling sessions for me to help deal with it, and I can't say those didn't help a little, but what happened that Halloween night has stayed with me for my whole life, and every single year, without fail, I think about it a little. Like a lot of suburban... Sorry, that sounded weird. Gemma with the 2 says, we Brits don't talk that way. Wait, about what? Oh, did I do like an accent or something and make fun of your accent, or make fun of British people? Did I make fun of you or something? Or what did I miss? I'm confused. Thank you for the 2. You had a charge nurse that grew up with Clara Barton and Florence Nightingale. Yeah, there was always those ones. Like the one that I told you about that passed away, she legitimately was like wearing, you know, white tucked in scrubs, you know, until she passed away. And I there was one really funny part that where she had like, she was walking away one time and I swear I could see like a poop stain on the back of her bum. I like to assume it was somebody else's poop, but it could have been hers, you know. I wasn't judging. Like a lot of suburban neighborhoods here on the east coast of the US, Halloween decorations have become something of an art form. I remember when decorations used to be confined to just a pumpkin and maybe a few things pinned to a front door. But now it's a whole different ballgame, with lawns overflowing with orange-colored decor and even the occasional roof being covered in those fake spiderweb type things. Things have gotten pretty intense too, like last year I saw how someone had actually dug up a patch of their own well-preened front lawn to make like a fake grave type thing that had a skeletal hand sticking out of it. It's been that way for a few years now, and it's key to how my story even happened in the first place. So on the night in question, me and a friend of mine are wandering around our neighborhood in costume, collecting as much candy as we could possibly carry. We come to this one particular house that's totally decked out in all kinds of Halloween-themed decorations. I mean, it was honestly pretty impressive how much effort the family had put into it, and if they were so into Halloween... Nurse Joel with his mini skirt. It was really funny, like my buddy... This is actually the first year I'd ever really met him. He was dressed up as a sexy nurse wearing a short skirt and stuff, and he kept spreading his legs "Yaha!" I mean, it was honestly pretty impressive how much effort the family had put into it. And if they were so into Halloween that they go to such lengths to decorate their home, there was a decent chance that they'd be incredibly generous with giving out candy too. So me and my buddies started walking up their pathway all slow, just admiring all the decor as we went. So me and my buddies started walking up their pathway all slow, just admiring all the decor as we went. Things got progressively spookier as we went, but nothing could compare to the scene we saw as we got close to the front door, and that buddy of mine spied through the front window of the house. Inside, the entire front room had been turned into a pure vision of hell. This family was indeed the most dedicated set of Halloween decorators we'd ever come across. It appeared that they set up an actual sort of murder scene. The whole room was trashed, with ornaments strewn over the room, china plates smashed to smithereens with pieces laying all over the carpet. There was blood everywhere too, splashed all over the couch along the bloody handprints on the walls, and in the middle of the room, laying on the carpet, was the most convincing-looking dead body I'd ever seen. The family had done a decent job of obscuring... Whoops. The devil's not here tonight. Yeah, I didn't see him, nor did I see... Jesus Christ. Yeah, no Arthur Morgan. Where the heck are these? The basic characters we have here. The family had done a decent job of obscuring the mannequin, or whatever it was, by having it pretty much caked in blood and gore-soaked, torn-up clothing. It was maybe a little much for Halloween, though. I've always been something of a scary movie fan, but even I couldn't stomach to look at it for very long, so I moved up to the front door and began ringing the doorbell. I rang once, then twice, but no one answered, and all the while my buddy's just staring through the front window, white as a sheet. I try a third time, banging on the door extra loud just in case the doorbell happened to be broken or something, and still my buddy is just gawking through the front window. I remember him saying something like, "God, it just looks so real," before I finally walk over and start trying to drag him away from the window before he vomited or something. The homeowners would certainly not be giving us any candy if we went and made a big old throw-up mess on their property. Only right as I'm doing so, I happen to look through the window just in time to see one of the TV room doors opening. In walked a man who looked like he'd been crying, like a whole lot too, and in his hand were these big plastic trash bags. We're only peeking in from the edge of the window, so he didn't see us right away, and we watched as he walks over to the mannequin thing and kneels down beside it. He reaches out to touch the face of the thing, and that's when I see how he's got these rubber gloves on too, the kind you use for washing up. I get that he didn't want to get any of the corn syrup blood or whatever it was on his hands, and I started kind of wondering how he's going to get the stains out of the carpet. I mean, that's real dedication to ruin your own upholstery, all in the name of Halloween decorations. And that's when it hits me. We're not looking at Halloween decorations. The body lying on the carpet isn't a mannequin, and it's not corn syrup on the walls. It's real blood. A real body. We're not looking at a decorative setup, we're looking at an actual murder scene. My buddy says just one word. Dude. Loud enough for the guy inside to hear us. His head spins towards the window, these big tear-stained eyes just focusing on the little spot we're peering in from, and the sad look in his eyes turns to one of pure shock and anger. We lock eyes for a moment and I feel my heart rate go into overdrive, 1,000 terrified thoughts flashing my mind all at once. Then the man is up on his feet, storming out the TV room and towards what I could only guess was the front door. Me and my buddy just sprint back down the path, running as fast as we can as we hear the front door open up behind us. I look back briefly to see the man, clothes soaked in blood, chasing us out into the dark street. He was bigger than us, faster than us, and had absolutely no intention of letting us get away to report what we'd seen. I can't even describe the kind of fear that I'd felt, knowing it was only a matter of seconds before he caught up with us. And when he did, we'd probably suffer the same fate as whoever it was lying on the carpet back in his house. But as luck would have it, the streets were still pretty busy with trick-or-treaters at that hour, and he must have realized that chasing a pair of kids, still covered in blood, would arouse way too much suspicion. Even if it was Halloween and people might mistake the real blood for fakery, just like we'd done in the first few minutes of peering through the front window. We ran and ran, all the way back to my parents' house where we begged them to call the police. At first my parents figured that our imaginations had just gotten the better of us and dismissed our claims that we'd seen an actual murder scene as pure fantasy. In the end, my dad insisted on seeing the scene for himself before calling the cops out, and even if the idea of going back there sent me into fits of terror, he wouldn't take no for an answer. I had horrible visions of the bloodied man just sticking a shotgun through his front door and blowing my dad away so that there'd be no witnesses, and the whole walk around the murder house. Oops. Wait, where the fuck was it? Terrible visions. Let's reach a narrate for the news. Today, a man took a shit on my porch. What the fuck? Lit it on fire. What an asshole. Okay. What story are we on? This is story 2 of 6. I had horrible visions of the bloodied man just sticking a shotgun through his front door and blowing my dad away so that there'd be no witnesses, and the whole... Excuse me. Chris Chan. Who's Chris Chan? And the whole walk around the murder house, I was absolutely terrified. But as we got closer, we started to see a bunch of blue flashing lights. It was only then that Dad actually took me seriously, and as we edged around a corner and saw a bunch of cop cars sitting outside the murder house, he realized that I'd been telling the truth. I figured someone who saw him chasing us briefly had the wherewithal to call the police before us, and I thank God that they did, because I don't know if I'd even be writing this if we'd actually been able to walk back up that pathway and back towards the house. It was all over the papers for the next few days. How this guy had stabbed his wife to death, and rumors went round that he'd found out that she was cheating or something. But I never really got those confirmed or not, so only God knows what actually caused him to snap and murder her. Like I said, I had to have a great deal of therapy throughout my teenage years to help me get over what I saw that night or a long time. And for a long, long time, I saw that body in my nightmares. In the worst of them, me and my buddy would be looking through the window, and the body would rise up into a sitting position before the woman screamed to us to help her, blood pouring from her cut-up mouth as she did so. In some others, the guy would catch us, drag us back into the house, then lay us on the carpet next to the body before taking a knife to us, one at a time. It took a while, but I got past it. Yet Halloween remains a time of year when I can't quite keep those memories out of my head. A time of year when others pretend to be haunted by ghosts and whatnot, whereas I'm actually haunted by the sight of that poor woman, lying on the carpet, covered in blood. Oh, Joel's Discord. Do we have any mods in? Oh, there you go. Thank you, Fry, for putting that there. Oh, man. Pizza the Hut. Yeah, that was pretty dark. I wish I knew like where it happened at, you know, so we could get some specifics. Charlie, hello. Yeah, Pennsyltucky. Wait, is this the one where they walk in, the whole family was murdered, and the crazy dude was dressed as a little girl? I don't think so. I don't think I would read a repeat, and I don't even remember reading that in the past. How many stories left? We got 1, 2, 3, 4 stories left. They're pretty lengthy and girthy. I don't know if this is going to scare any adult readers out here, but as a kid, this definitely scared the life out of me. My dad used to take me and my sister trick-or-treating around our neighborhood here in Toronto every year when we were kids, being a chaperone so we didn't get lost or picked up. Oops. Being a chaperone so we didn't get lost or picked on by older kids. He was always good like that, and me and my sister used to share our candy with him when we got home. It was a major dad tax, but we never minded. There's no way I'd have felt safe enough going out on my own on a dark, freezing night, not when I was that age anyway. So this year, we ended up calling at a new neighbor's house on Halloween night. Oops. Worldview. With the 10 buckaroonie says, thanks for all the hours of entertainment. You're welcome. Thank you for the 10. I appreciate it. So close to 300 likes. Yes, guys, if you're just getting here, please click that like button. Or if you haven't already, give it a clickety-clack. So this one year, we ended up knocking at a new neighbor's house on Halloween night. They'd only moved in like a week or two before, and I don't think my parents had any interaction. God damn it. Like, blah, 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 blah. A skin squawker story. Skin squawk. They'd only moved in like a week or two before, and I don't think my parents had any interactions with them, so I imagine Dad thought that it would be a good idea to knock that night so we could get some candy while he could say hi to the new arrivals. 2 birds, 1 stone, and all that. But what we didn't know was that these new neighbors were super hardcore Christians, and most definitely were not down with the whole spooky Halloween atmosphere. So we knock on their door, the neighbor lady answers, and we're all like, trick or treat. Pretty much every single household up until that point had reacted wonderfully, told us how cute we looked in our costumes, given us candy, all that good stuff, but this lady reacts really, really badly and starts telling Dad how irresponsible he is for taking us out into the cold on a night like that. A little exchange kicks off between her and Dad, who politely defends his reasoning, even making a joke about how he got to eat a little candy for himself. The lady just stared at him blankly for a second, before she starts screaming all this Bible stuff at us. She had this horrible look of pure anger on her face, all twisted up with big, furious eyes, and he pointed a long, bony... Fuck. Holly Hillman with the 2. Thank you, Holly. And Christina H. with the 150 with the hot dog. Thank you. And Holly Hillman with another 2. Thank you, Holly. You wish you were a skeleton like Joel. It's tough not being able to eat or digest food or put on any muscle at all. A skelly. I'm a skeleton. Jack Skellington. Joel Skellington.
Hey, listen.
She had this horrible look of pure anger on her face, all twisted up with big, furious eyes, and she pointed a long, bony finger at us. I couldn't remember exactly what she said, so I spent a little more time doing research so I could pull up some of the exact quotes that came out of her. Like I said, not totally terrifying for adults, and I remember my dad shaking his head and just leading... Bleh. Fuck. I hate, I don't know. Sometimes I stumble on words and I don't even know why. My mouth just it's like tripping on fucking your own feet. Like I said, not totally terrifying for adults, and I remember my dad shaking his head and just leading us away from the house. But to me and my sister, all the screaming about God and demons and the devil and whatnot just absolutely terrified us, and we cried so hard for a while until Dad could manage to calm us down. So one of the things she definitely said was, abstain from every evil form of evil. Whoops. So one of the things that she had said was, abstain from every form of evil. You cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of demons. You cannot partake of the table of the Lord and the table of demons. Which I guess was her implying that you couldn't partake in any spooky fun around Halloween if you really wanted to be a good, God-fearing Christian. Another was definitely, take no part in the unfruitful works of darkness, but instead expose them, and give no opportunity to the devil. She screamed that one at us as my dad took us each by the hand and led us away from the house. The final thing we heard before we got out into the open streets was, be sober-minded, be watchful. Your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking someone. The devil is seeking a mate. Maria Lopez with the 5 says for your weekly tacos. Thank you. It fills the quota. Many, many tacos. Stretch my tongue. Damien Knapp with the $6.66 has passed my GED today. Sharing the love, ready for some spooks while I write. Hey, congratulations. Are you, what type of grad school shall you be attending? Someone bought an 8K blow-up doll. Yikes. That's what I'm saving up for. We're going for 10K, though. Let's read the blow-up doll fund.
Hey, listen.
The final thing we heard before we got out into the open street was, be sober-minded, be watchful. Your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. I mean, she carried on screaming stuff at us, following us outside and into the streets, as I'm guessing she started ranting at all the other parent and kid teams who were out that night, but I can't really remember what she said after that. I didn't hear over my own sobbing. Dad walked us away until we couldn't hear her anymore, then gave us each a big hug to calm us down. I remember asking him if trick-or-treating made us bad people, but he told us no. There was no harm in a little bit of spooky fun on Halloween, and that God wouldn't be mad at us for visiting our neighbors or sharing candy with strangers. That kind of thing made people and communities feel closer together, not further apart. The only thing that did push people apart were horrible neighbor ladies who scream scary things at kids and get mad at them when they don't deserve it. All that made us feel much better and calmed us right down, just about in time to call at a few more houses. Fuck. Oops. Fuck. You like bitter foods, not sour though. Yeah, I don't really know, like, I don't know. Christians against Halloween and stuff. Like, I get it. It's like I don't really know the history of Halloween as like a holiday or whatever. I don't know if it's like anti-Christian or whatever, but I don't know. I get annoyed whenever people get caught up in the whole like just really honing in on like the superficial aspects of stuff when in reality they're just a bunch of kids wearing silly masks and trying to be spooky while enjoying candy. I don't know. I don't really think there's... Oh, GED is the high school degree. Good. Oh, I don't know. What am I thinking of? What's the graduate school test? GRE. Oh, okay. See, I mixed that up. Sorry about that. Or wait, is that what you said? GRE or GED? Oh, well, either way, congratulations. That's awesome. Sorry about that. I think I read that wrong. Pagan times in Ireland and such. Doesn't have to have been as devil worship. Yeah. Obviously. Yeah, I don't think I've ever, growing up in church, I don't think I met anyone that was just like, don't go out on Halloween, or if they did, everyone was like, shut the fuck up, dude. Just let the kids have a good time. All that made us feel much better and calmed us right down, just about in time to knock on a few more houses before we called it a night, heading home to eat ourselves into a diabetes hole in front of a Nightmare Before Christmas movie, which coincidentally is still one of my favorite movies ever. Years went by, but I never forgot about how horrible that neighbor lady was to her that evening. What? I have like spit in my throat. Spitty spit. Years went by, but I never forgot about how horrible that neighbor lady was to us that evening, and me and my sister grew to hate her. You all might be pretty happy to hear that she used to get the trick side of trick-or-treating quite a lot off. Fuck. Why the fuck can I not read? You might be pretty happy to hear that she used to get the trick side of trick-or-treating quite often, quite a lot. Jesus Christ. You met kids in Chicago that don't let their kids celebrate. Yeah, I mean, I know. Yeah, it's usually like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if every religion is that way. Like, a lot of Christian sects are like that. Not all of them. Like, I would say the majority of them are relatively secular when it comes to enjoying Halloween. Like, it's just a typical tradition for people that they don't get too caught up in or worried about or thinking that they're sacrificing their kids to devil land or whatever. But I'm curious, like, if it's the same way with, like, Jewish kids, the same way with, like, kids who celebrate Islam, and other religions. Like, if there's, very strenuous regulations of what holidays you observe because of religious, oh, yeah, Jehovah's Witnesses, they probably would, yeah. Scully, what's up? House of Thrillers. Years went by, but I never forgot about how horrible that neighbor lady was to us that evening, and me and my sister grew to hate her. You all might be pretty happy to hear that she used to get the trick side of treating her. Why can I not fucking say this sentence at all? It's so annoying for some reason. Blech. You all might be pretty happy to hear that she used to get the trick side of trick-or-treating quite a lot too. It's like so simple, but I like just a weird mashing of words for some reason. You all might be pretty happy to hear that she used to get the trick side of trick-or-treating quite a lot too, and it wasn't unusual for my sister and I to head off to school on the morning of November 1st to see them pulling toilet paper out of the tree in their front yard. But anyways, that's definitely the scariest thing that ever happened to me out of all the times I went trick-or-treating during my youth. Maybe that makes me sound a little sheltered, but as I said, I challenge any 11-year-old not to get super creeped out by a lady screaming scary Bible verses in their face on a dark, freezing night like that. The Mormons, yeah. Islam doesn't celebrate Halloween. Like even like the more secular is, I guess I don't really know much about like their communities within. I'm sure it would probably have various different subcultures as well, like just in the same way that Christians have all sorts of different sub-sects and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Sections of sub-belief. It's one that I don't feel like a lot of people would be educated upon knowing their usual traditions. Your fiance has cousins who think Pokemon are evil because they evolve. Yeah, I remember Pokemon got kind of like a bad rep for that because it was like, I don't know, like it was as if though you were capturing the spirits of these monsters, pocket monsters, and then, I don't know, yeah, I guess the evolution part would play into it as well, but it was just, and then some people, like, I don't know, they played like the Pokemon song backwards or whatever, and it said some satanic shit or something. I mean, if you kind of had to like listen closely to it. Fluffy Foxy Fox Fluffo with the $5 says, Halloween's actually the festival of Samhain. People used to dance around fires, eat too much food, and wear costumes to ward off spirits. No devil worship. Interesting. I'll have to look that up, or maybe you guys can look up Samhain, or I'm not sure how you say it, but that's cool. Good to know. Thank you. It depends, especially the ones that are very religious and those that don't really care on religious. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I think for us, we're like more used to seeing it being shunned by Christians because Christianity is the predominant religion within Western cultures, but I was about 14 years old when my family had just moved to a new town. I was also lucky enough to make a fast friend at my new school, and we subsequently made plans to go trick-or-treating together since it was coming up to Halloween night. Because we were 14 and lived in a fairly safe neighborhood, my parents told us that they didn't think I needed a chaperone that year. So while everything was going great and we were having fun, getting some solid candy, it was kind of cool just walking around on our own, feeling sort of grown up. We call it one house. Michael Myers, are me and you gonna get a spin-off movie? Michael Myers versus Jesus Christ. We knock at one house and this middle-aged man opened the door. He seemed happy to see my new friend and me, so I assumed we were in for some grade A candy. I don't actually remember what candy he handed out, but I do remember what happened next. He asked us to come inside, which is weird, but we really wanted candy, so I guess we were dumb enough to take the bait. He disappears for a moment, and I kind of assumed that he was going to get us some candy, but when he reemerges, he doesn't have any, only a camera in his hand. Then he asks if he could take a couple of pictures of us, explaining that he'd like to take photos of kids every Halloween because he loves seeing the costumes, how he was something of a collector. At this point, even being a fairly naive 14-year-old, I got weirded out, yet knew it was best not to upset the man and let him take the picture and then we could leave. So he takes the photo of us, waits for the Polaroid to come out, then hands us a pen, asks us to sign our names on the back. Me and my new friend did as we're told, but although we'd been dumb enough to actually go into this guy's house with him, we weren't dumb enough to sign our actual names, so we wrote fake ones on the back just to satisfy him. Only then were we allowed to leave with the candy that he gave us after we signed. I don't know if the guy was in some sort of... I don't know if this guy was on some sort of list or some sort of offender or anything like that. There were no more run-ins with him and nothing in the way of rumors going around town. But I still get creeped out thinking about what he did with that photo of me. That was kind of a quickie, but definitely weird. Do I think working as a nurse has changed my view on death? I guess I got kind of like used to it. I mean, not a lot of people died like on my floor that I worked on, but I worked at like a nursing home, and you know, there was a lot of like strange paranormal stuff that people had talked about happening at that nursing home. The one thing about death that I've come to find is it's not quick, you know, like a quick thing. It's like when someone is dying, it takes a while, man. It's like sometimes takes like quite a bit of time, like for their body to like fully lose all of their vital signs for them to, you know, and then also just like, you know, sometimes for days, if not weeks or long period before that, just like someone slowly going downhill with their health, you know, and it's kind of a sad process to watch occur because, I don't know, it just seems like such a pain in the ass. Gemma with the 5 says, I celebrate Sam Hain. It is nothing like the stories. We do not dance around fires. It is more spiritual. Interesting. Thank you for the 5. Yeah, I don't know. You know, what is spiritual? What is the celebration of the spirit and stuff like that as a human? And is there some sort of absolute truth in all of it? You know what I mean? Like, you definitely feel like something's there. It seems like all humans are kind of drawn towards the idea of an afterlife and stuff, but I feel like nobody ever really has the full picture ever, you know? Am I ever scared that the stuff in the stories I read will ever happen to me? I was always kind of like freaked out by the paranormal stuff. Why am I still single? I don't know. I guess Pradeep is just... he's a nice soft boy, and that's all I need. Not really. I just, I don't know. I live in like a area where a lot of people come and go, you know, a lot of passing through kind of stuff, so tis hard to meet folks sometimes. Yeah, the people that can kind of come to terms with like not caring about what happens to them before they die, like, I respect that, you know what I mean? Like, someone made a good point in our Discord, talking to them, becoming friends with people in Discord and stuff. You know, they said, like, you know, you didn't reflect upon oblivion before you were born. Why reflect upon it after, kind of thing? And I guess that is a good point. Like, if you like to think that, like, nothing existed in your perspective prior to life, why reflect upon non-existence after life? But I think it's just because it's like a self-preservation thing. Like, you just want your consciousness or whatever you describe as being yourself to just like continue onward, you know, and whenever you hear about the hopes of like eternity and stuff like that, it's like, well, hopefully that's me. Hopefully I get to be that one, you know. But at the same time, I have no fucking clue. I'm more inclined from hearing all these stories that there is something after death, you know, obviously, but at the same time, can I describe that in absolute detail in the way that like certain religions do? I don't think so, because there's a lot of phenomena that seems to be contradictory to what the majority of major organized religions would describe as their absolute truth, you know. Gemma with the 2 says, it is the perspective. What do you mean? What do you mean? Maybe we're gonna do a face reveal. I don't think so. Thoughts on assisted slewer slide? I heard about in different, like in, I don't know exactly where it is, in like a Scandinavian country somewhere, that they have the elderly can participate in that, like where they can decide to like have their life ended early. And I mean, it's weird, whenever your dog's like 15, it's like a bigger dog or whatever, and it's like 15 and it's fucking like shitting itself and it's like falling over and it's sick and you know what I mean? Like eventually you put it down, you put your dog down, and you don't really think much of it. You have like a sad day for a while and you reflect upon how much you love that dog, and it's like, well, you did the right thing, you did the right thing, and you spared them of the pain. So it's like, to give that choice to an elderly person, I think that's within their right to choose, you know what I mean, for whether they feel it. Because a lot of the times I've seen, working in nursing, I mean, we'll have like elderly patients who will just tell you time after time again that I just want to die, I just want to die, I just want to die. And it's sad, you know what I mean, to hear that over and over again. You're like pretty much just doing your job to like keep them going, with whatever stuff that they need. And then they have like a very overbearing family who are, adults and have kids and stuff, and they're sitting there, putting pressure on you to like do everything you can for their parent, which I think is fine, and I agree from their perspective. They don't want to lose their parent, but at the same time, I think for them it comes down to their own insecurities with losing control, or like trying to, taking that control out of the elderly individual's right to choose whether or not it's time for their life to move on. Because eventually it comes down to like, quality of life, and you're doing all these mechanisms to keep them going, and in reality it's just like extending their suffering, which is, I don't think, very cool. Your brother brought you back. Interesting. What would be the most inappropriate costume to wear? I don't know. I mean, like, I don't agree young people, like, some people, like, I don't think that right to choose extends to young people, because, I mean, I obviously, at the end of the day, I'm not one to tell anybody what to do with their life, but I think if you are still like a healthy individual at a young age, like, and you're able-bodied and stuff, I think there's still like a huge amount of like life experiences that you would be missing out on, you know what I mean? So it's like, if anybody ever is in that position where they think that they should take their own life, I would tell them to talk to somebody, talk to a professional, talk to your friends and family, and tell them how you're feeling. And just like, if you ever hit that kind of like rock bottom position where you think that there's nothing left, like, this world is big, and there's a lot more experiences, left to be had that can give you a deeper sense of meaning than you'd ever possibly imagine. And I think a lot of the times it's like, I think a lot of us are just afraid, you know what I mean? And I think if you're to the point where it's like, it makes sense to end it all, well then what's the harm in just getting on a fucking, bus and taking it to another town, and then seeing if life works out in another state or something like that, or you know what I mean? Like, just trying something fucking new and putting it all out there, you know what I mean? Like, you might as well try something new, you know what I mean? If you got to that point. That's what I always thought, like, if I ever got to that point, I'm like, well, fuck it, let's go try something else, because I think sometimes you just need a sort of external perspective to appreciate what you have. Noah, yeah, well, I'm glad that, yeah, none of the attempts worked, and I'm glad that you found a better understanding and appreciation for life, Yeah, a lot of people get stuck in the now and they feel hopeless. And I'm not sitting here saying that I can never understand everybody's pain, but there's someone out there that can, you know what I mean, and someone that can talk you through it, and then also some experiences that can take you out of that mindset, and you'll be a completely different person than you were when you were sad and 14, you know, or when you were sad and 27, or when you were sad and 40, you know what I mean, or when you were, and I'm not saying, once again, I'm not trying to be offensive or anything like that, but I'm just saying, like, you're a constantly evolving story as a human being, so it's like there's always going to be ups and downs, because that's just the nature of life, you know, and it's really just comes down to your ability to adapt and grow and take those opportunities to experience different things. And I think a lot of the times that's what it all comes down to, is we just need more experiences. Psychedelic therapy. Yeah, I've heard some people say when they take microdoses of LSD or mushrooms and things like that, I've heard people have kind of come to some really, really serious revelations within their mind, or, you know, kind of come to terms with certain things, you know, that they've struggled with psychologically prior that they'd never really thought of before, and it's really helped them. So anything that can help you, I suggest giving it a whirl, as long as it's not detrimental to you. I think for any American teenager, starting high school has to be one of the most stressful, daunting experiences of their entire education. But for me, it was particularly rough. You see, I was a real late bloomer, still very much a squeaker by the time I got to be a freshman. While the boys my age were getting growth spurts and sprouting facial hair, I could easily have still passed for 11 or 12. I mean, I got caught up eventually, don't get me wrong, but there are pictures of me from back then. But there are pictures of me from back that my... Oh, okay. I mean, I got caught up eventually, don't get me wrong, but there are pictures of me from back then that my current roommate has seen, and he jokes that I had the body of an anorexic bikini model. I'd like to argue to the contrary, but honestly, that's not far off. So unfortunately, I was an obvious target for bullying seniors, the worst of which was this big slab of meat with red hair named Josh. Josh used to push me into lockers on a daily basis like, "Are you sure you're old enough to be here, short stuff?" And I was in absolutely no position to be able to defend myself. So this goes on for a month, and each time I get sicker and sicker of how he's treating me. It's not like I was a total pushover either. Despite my small stature, I'd managed to deter any potential middle school bullies by being something of a pint-sized brawler. Even if you don't quite win a fight, you can still inflict a fair amount of damage, and after that, suddenly they don't want the smoke anymore. So it was honestly only a matter of time before I snapped at Josh. Sure, he was bigger than me, but I was about perfectly positioned to nail one good punch to the balls, and after that, there was little chance he'd want to lay hands on me again. Anyway, it's getting closer and closer to Halloween, and some of the bullying is getting pretty intense, and I said, each time something happens, I get more and more furious. Up until the point where, on the morning of Halloween, me and my friends are talking about going trick-or-treating that evening, swapping costume ideas and stuff, when Josh appears out of nowhere and starts verbally pounding on us about how we're such a bunch of nerds. I think it was how he was trying to show me up in front of my friends that really did it. I just stand the thought of facing them. What? You don't want the smoke. I think it was how he was trying to show me up in front of my friends that really did it. I just stand the thought of losing face in front of them. Oh, maybe can't. Oh. Let me let Pradeep in real quick. He's crazy. Oh my goodness. It's so funny. He, like, comes in the room, jumps on the bed, and does like a full like roll over to get his belly rubbed. He's like, I think you realize it's time for me to get my daily attention, or my hourly attention. Ramtab with the 20 big ones says, thanks for keeping me entertained at work. You're welcome, Ramtab. Thank you so much for the 20. Holy cow. Garcias. I think it was how he was trying to show me up in front of my friends that really did it. I just couldn't stand the thought of losing face in front of them, so I clapped back with like, yeah, but your mom loves it when I dress up for her. Josh just stops dead, like this blank expression on his face. My buddies are all laughing like, got him, and I'm half expecting Josh to start trying to pummel on me, but he doesn't move. He just stares off into the near distance for like a full minute while I look back at him in confusion. Then, without a word in reply, Josh just storms off without so much as looking at us, but before he disappears around a corner, he full-on throws a right hook into a locker so hard he put a dent in the thing. Just like boom, punches it so loud a teacher comes out from a class screaming and asking what was that. It felt kinda good knowing I'd gotten him so mad, even if I probably would end up suffering for it. But just how much I'd suffer for it, I had absolutely no idea. So cut to like an hour or two later and we're all having lunch, sitting around the tables just minding our own business. One by one, seniors start coming up to our table like, did you really say that stuff to Josh about his mom? And when I say yes, they're all like, wow, dude, just wow. Walking away, shaking their heads and laughing. This happens like a bunch of times too, and at first I think they're just impressed that I flamed the bully so hard, but there's something else there too. Something that kinda piqued my curiosity. So, in the end, when this one senior kid asks what I'd said, I stopped and was like, why is that such a big deal? Guy had it coming. Yeah, but you brought up his mom, the kid replied, like it wasn't what kids always bring up against each other when they're trading insults. I'm like, so what? Yo mama jokes are like old news by now. The kid then looks at me. I just told him I thought... How could you say something so offensive? Jesus gets bullied by girls because of his celibacy. This is true. Bullied by Mary Magdalene. Oh, sorry. I freaking cracked me knuckles. The kid then looks at me like I just told him I thought the earth was flat. Dude, Josh's mom died over spring... Fuck. Dude, Josh's mom died over summer break. Sudden cancer diagnosis or something. It was brutal. It's hard to even sum up the mix of emotions I felt in that moment. Like I felt like a douche, bully, or no bully, losing your mom... Like I felt like a douche, bully or no bully, losing your mom like that must be one of the worst things that can ever happen to a person, and to remind him of it made me feel terrible. Then, having not known, that just made me feel so out of the loop like that. What? This fucking sentence is structured so fucking weird. Sorry. It is sad, though. Then, having not known that, just... Oh. Then, having not known, that just made me feel so out of the loop. Just like an outsider or something. Like I had no place being there, which was already bad enough considering my physique. But what really overwhelmed me was the fear I felt, knowing I'd made him so unbelievably furious. The locker punch suddenly made all the sense in the world, and I imagined the kind of revenge I'd personally want if someone made fun of my dead mom like that. Suddenly a few crotch punches didn't seem like such an effective deterrent. Josh would be wanting to tear me apart. I managed to duck him for the rest of the day, For a while, I was actually debating whether or not I should actually just bite the bullet and apologize to him. A little empathy might have been good for all involved, and it's not like I would be doing so just to save my own skin, like I genuinely felt bad about having said what I said. But I guess I was just too cowardly to actually seek him out, and doing so seemed like a dumb move on my part when it would just be easier to ninja around school and bail when the final bell rang, which is exactly what I did. Then just headed home in the hopes that a little trick-or-treating fun would be exactly what I needed to take my mind off the whole thing. Besides, it was Friday, and whatever was going to happen over the mom insult fiasco was at least going to have to wait until Monday. I got myself what was essentially a stay of execution. What? What does that mean? Burrito. Perdeep's a burrito. Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate it. Hope you're having a good day, too. Hey, see you, Michael. Have a good day at school. This is gearing up to be a pretty good story here, honestly. I think I might start the video with this story. Besides, it was a Friday, and whatever was going to happen over the mom insult fiasco was at least going to have to wait until Monday. I'd gotten myself what was essentially a stay of execution. So like I said, that night was Halloween, and me and a few buddies had planned on going trick-or-treating together. It was a good time. I mean, anything involving free candy always makes for a good time, right? And the night was going smoothly, right up until we stop at a crosswalk where this car is pulling up. The car stops, and we step out into the street as we start to walk in front of it. Then, right as we're on a level heading with it, one of my buddies is like, "Don't look, dude," under his breath, nudging me and pointing towards the car. And naturally, I look. Big mistake. Because who sat in the driver's seat of that car cruising around on Halloween night with his buddies? Of all people on the face of Earth. On the face of Earth. W in the chat for Let's Read. Of all the people on the face of Earth that I really, really didn't want to run into that evening, it had to be them sitting in their car at the crosswalk. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It was the slab of meat, Josh. And right then, as I'm perfectly positioned in front of his car, we lock eyes with one another. Obviously, I'm wearing a costume, but no mask, so although it takes him a minute of being like, "Why does this little runt seem familiar to me?" he does actually recognize who I am. Now, I knew he was going to be mad, but I didn't expect him to be this mad, because as soon as it hits him that it's me walking in front of the car, he guns his engine and just lurches forward, actually trying to straight up run me and my friends over. He manages to... we manage. Oh, Harvey didn't get notified. Yeah, I don't understand. Like, if people hit the fucking notification bell, if you hit it and you do like the top tier one where it says, "Let me know when Let's Read fucking shits," you know what I mean? Like, I would hope that YouTube would let people know when I shit. You know what I mean? If that's an option, I would hope that would actually fucking operate appropriately. But for some reason, every stream, people say I was not notified, and it seems I would presume that they would be under the interpretation that they'd want to be notified, and I assume that they do. So why the fuck does this system, for the past 3 to 4 years of notifications, just suck pooness? You know what I mean? Like, why is it so poopy? Like, why is it bad? Do they purposely do it because they don't? Is there some sort of like internal research that tells their team, like, guys, we can't like let everybody know about something because we want them to be doing something else on our system? But like, if it gets, because the big thing on YouTube is they want you to get you onto their platform and hang around. So if like This gets you onto the platform, you know, a notification from your favorite spooky story reader. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't know why it doesn't work. Like, why, what at like YouTube headquarters are like, we're gonna let about like 3% of the viewers know that he's live streaming or that a video comes out. Like, it makes no logical sense to me, like how that whole system works, you know? It just does not make sense. Well, that's why, I don't know. That's why I think it's important to follow me on other social medias, like Twitter mainly hopefully will give you the update because I always post on there. And then also Discord guarantees to give you an update whenever I'm live. So definitely join the Discord, follow on Twitter, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. Even though Instagram I don't really like update with stream stuff as much as I used to because it's kind of a pain in the ass, but you get the idea. It's just stupid. Why do we have to go through like a third-party service? Same with like, dude, YouTube has this thing like where people need like help from like the team of YouTube. You have to like get in contact with them over like Twitter's like at their Twitter team. You know what I mean? Like as if though like Twitter is just like some extension of YouTube's like help system, and it's so baffling to me. I'm like, how can you run a company so, I don't know. Like how is that a thing, you know? But anyways, that's my bitching for 3 seconds. More beard scratches. We managed to run out of the way just in time, and he heads up the street while onlookers are like, oh god, did you see that? Those poor kids almost got hit and stuff, while we watch from the sidewalk as he does a very illegal U-turn before coming right back at us. We just start running down the sidewalk, trying our very best to escape, but the dude was in his car, so we stood absolutely no chance of getting away from him. Josh just guns it past us, cutting off our route of escape, then jumps out of the car to give chase. He was a big dude, but Jesus Christ was he fast. So needless to say, he catches up to me in like no time at all and just tackles me down onto the sidewalk. Then, as you can probably guess, Josh then proceeds to beat the living life out of him. The living life. Then, as you can probably guess, Josh then proceeds to beat the goo out of me, with me shouting, I'm sorry, I didn't know the whole time. Like he's just raining blows down on me, kicking me while I'm balled up on the sidewalk, when I hear something I still feel kind of conflicted about. He's grunting and cursing at me for a while, but then I hear something else. He's like whimpering or something as he's hitting me. Then his voice starts to break while he's calling me all kinds of names, and I come to realize that he's actually crying. It was weird. I could have at least tried to get up and make a run for it, but I didn't. I just shut up and let him wail on me for a while because honestly, I felt like I kind of deserved it. I know that probably sounds really dumb. He was a bully, and he's probably still a bully now, but yeah, there it is. I just felt really, really sorry for the guy. No one deserves to lose their mom like that. No one. He only stops beating on me when he's actually full-on ugly crying, then he heads back to his car and just drives off into the night. My trick-or-treating partners in long September was last month. Wake me up when September... Oh, it is over. Okay. My trick-or-treating partners and have long since ran. You're feeling too much secondhand discomfort from this story? Yeah, it's kind of an uncomfortable story. Maybe I shouldn't start with this one. I don't know. My trick-or-treating partners had long since ran off, leaving me alone and bloodied on the sidewalk, trying and failing a few times to find my feet. I mean, I didn't blame them. Hearing that car engine revving behind us was one of the scariest experiences of our lives, but yeah, I was all alone at that point. So like I said, it took me a while to be able to stand up enough to start my walk home. But not until I gathered up some of the candy that had spilled out of my sack during the beatdown, which was going to be badly needed for some soul soothing that night. I snuck in, dodged my parents, and told them the next morning that my bruises were just down to us play fighting and trying the kind of stuff that you don't try at home was all about. Mom was mad, but it meant I didn't have to tell them something that I was deeply ashamed of. Yeah, maybe it was like an unprovoked thing, just Josh being an idiot. Yeah, maybe it was like an unprovoked thing, just Josh being the monster that he was. I'd have to tell them the truth, but given the circumstances, it had probably come out that I had insulted this kid's dead mom, in which case I wouldn't have a leg to stand on. And there it is. My scariest story as a kid. Not exactly scary as... But there it is. It was the scariest thing to happen to me for that Halloween and really any Halloween to come after. And the bullying didn't stop, but then again, when does it ever? Okay, final story of the night. Joel, will you accept my ooh-woos? Ooh-wee ooh-woo. I posted a funny meme where it's like the ooh-woo face, but it's like, I glued my fingers together. I love running. I'm not like competitive about it or anything, but I've been doing some casual 5Ks and 10K runs for a few years now, and I find it's a great way to stay slim and maintain my mental health. But about this time last year, I started to get a weird tight pain in my lower back whenever I was running. Turned out I had a kind of stress injury from a strength imbalance and would need a little bit of rehab to get over it. So all throughout the month of October, I stuck to a course of various strengthening exercises that were designed to help me build up my core and my glutes. It was hard going, and like a lot of injuries like mine, there was no quick fix to get me running properly again. It was a hard road of rehab and disappointment, which left me feeling pretty anxious and depressed. And it's kind of all cute. Fuck. Wah wah wee woo. When am I going to stream again? Yeah, so I stream every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday night, which is the night before videos come out Monday, Wednesday, Friday. MNTVV. I love sitting down and eating. Yeah, it's a good feeling. And it all kind of culminated, sorry. How would I describe the ideal mate? I don't know. I really like laughing, you know what I mean? So like, if me and the person, if she like, I don't know, if she doesn't find me funny and I can't like if we can't laugh at the dumb shit that we say or whatever and just like generally have a good sense of humor, it's just so painful. It just feels like you're pulling teeth with people, you know what I mean? Or like I get really annoyed whenever, I don't know, like when people get annoyed with my humor, like which, I don't know, like they're trying so hard to be fucking mature or something like that, and I'm just like, oh, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, just have a laugh. You fucking boring. But anyway, like, just humor, and I like deep conversations. I like talking about stuff, you know what I mean? I could just tickle them, yeah. you know, I don't know, just like an intelligent person who has a good sense of humor, you know, or at the very least a good sense of humor, like, and we can just chat about stuff. And will you strip for your future girlfriend? Obviously, I will not. I will be wearing my favorite SpongeBob undies until I die. They will be covered in poop stains, and you will wash them every Tuesday. Giggle. Giggle. I like people who like to have a giggle. Fart humor is humor too. I don't know. I get annoyed with people who like treat you like a little kid or something like that, or like or they roll their eyes, or you know what I mean, like they just, I don't know, like it's like you just met them but they're already acting as if though like you've been married for 30 years or something. And uh it just it very, it harkens me back to the day of like, I don't know, interacting with people who thought cooties was a thing when you were younger. And it's just, it creates this strange sort of divisive nature. And that's like all I experienced like in my nursing days, was just like this constant bashing of like dudes, you know what I mean, by the other nurses. Like they, like you were pretty much only there to them most of the time for like some sort of comedic relief or whatever the fuck. And that was fine. But it was like they didn't really respect you or your thoughts like outside of just like what they needed you for. Yeah, and it was very belittling, and it just annoyed the shit out of me. I was like, can we all just like feel like equals, you know what I mean, who enjoy having a wee bit of a giggle, you know, and not bashing each other just because we're different genders, you know what I mean, creating this strange sort of division. Just have a good time with each other. Need a massage, yeah. Yeah. You'll wash your own damn skid rows in my house, you young Satan. No. I'm gonna bring my skid marks throughout all the bed sheets. Wee bit of a giggle. Just a wee bit. Bullying. Bullying never ends. Yeah, just treat me like a person. I don't know. Like some people, like I feel like a lot of people approach like relationships from like such a systematic viewpoint, you know what I mean? Like where they're like, I will have you when I want you, and I don't know, you will be the man, I will be the woman. And you know, like it never really feels like you connect on like sort of like a friend sort of level, you know what I mean? So it just always kind of feels like you and your mate are literally that, just you're a man and woman who are sitting next to each other and may or may not have like made a baby or some shit. And it's just like, okay, cool, dude, like that's fun. Glad this died instantly. But yeah, I know that takes hard, you know, it takes a lot of time to find somebody like that. I mean, really, it's like it's sort of borderline astronomical, it seems like sometimes. But yeah, be mates with your mate. That's a good, yeah, get that on a fucking shirt. Be mates with your mate. Would you do a Magic Kingdom on your future wife? What does that mean? I would take her to Disneyland. And it all kind of culminated on Halloween of last year, when I went for a run which left my back pretty messed up. I usually run around a big loop of a local park, which happens to border a lot of housing and neighborhoods. What's more, the city council holds a few Halloween events in the park itself, some for kids, some for big kids. So naturally the place is absolutely teeming with nightlife on the evening in question, which made for a particularly interesting Halloween run. But the joy of what? Slalom? Is that a fucking word? Slaloming?
Slalom.
Slalom. What the fuck is that? Moving or race in a winding path, avoiding... Oh. She drove with reckless speed.
Slalom.
Slaloming in and out of stalled cars. I've never seen that word before. Dude, these people are... got a thesaurus on hand. Hashtag free chills. We gotta get him out of my basement. What if Chills actually imprisoned Chills? Salami. They were salamying in and out of cars. But the joy of... I don't know how to fucking say this word. Oh, this is so annoying. Slaloming. It sounds gross. Slaloming. But the joy of slaloming around kids dressed in their spooky best was quickly overshadowed by the pain that began to burn in my lower back. It got progressively worse until after a measly 3.1 kilometers, I was forced to stop, limping my way along the outside path of the park, feeling shamefully defeated. Then night, as I'm walking past... Whoops. Sonia, good night. I said good night, assholes. I saith good nighteth to thee, good sir. Joel doesn't watch the Winter Olympics. Is it on right now? Is that going on? I thought the Olympics were canceled. Shalom. It's slang for slafter. Then right as I'm walking past this group of trick-or-treaters who were apparently old enough to be able to trick some poor off-license worker into selling them a few bottles of lager each, one of them makes some daft comment. Look at this idiot over here, one of them says, walking like he's just soiled his pants. Oh, that's okay. Look at this idiot over here, one of them says. Looks like he just soiled himself. They all burst into juvenile laughter. Now, running usually makes me pretty zen, so any other time I might just let a comment like that slide. Only that time, I'm in absolutely no mood to be spoken to like that. So obviously, I come back, hard, deliberately shoulder-barging the gobby offender on the way past him and telling him he'll be picking up his teeth with broken fingers if he keeps up that lip. Look, I'm not some hard case, fuck. Who told you senpai meant papa, and why the heck did I believe it? I don't know, what does senpai mean? I think it's just like someone you admire that's like a senior to you, but you also sort of like have a crush on them or some shit. Senpai means sodomy. Jesus, Brob. Brob Ross, everybody. Look, I'm not some hard case, but I had a really tough time that month, and I was really pent up from not being able to run properly. Remember I mentioned how it was good for my mental health? Yeah, that. Well, these kids were like 16 or 17 at the most, just about the right age to put... Well, these kids were about 16 or 17 at the most, just about the right age to be put back in their place by someone older than them. Only it turned out I was seriously misjudged their level of bravado, especially given the amount of Dutch courage that their bottles of lager had given them. So instead of just taking it on the chin and carry on walking in the opposite direction, the group of teenagers then turn around and start following me. Little side note here, I've seen a lot of Amera bottles type out, "You what, mate?" as a funny way to mimic British parlance. I'll admit, it is amusing. But when we've got a group of drunk teenagers following you actually shouting, "You what, mate?" it's not in the least bit amusing. So there I am, getting followed around a dark part on Halloween by a bunch of costumed teenagers who are now intent on kicking my head in, and any potentially deterring witnesses are quickly dwindling. A trio or so of them wouldn't have been a problem, but like I said, there was more than a handful of these little buggers, meaning that if they actually plucked up the balls to do something about it, they could actually do me a fair bit of damage. Only there was one big problem. If they did happen to go on the offensive, it wasn't like I was in the condition to be able to actually run away from them. In fact, in that current state, I wasn't in the condition to be able to maintain a steady pace either. They were gaining on me pretty quickly, and as I said, the little gobby one was definitely keen to save some face. So I kept plowing on, just sort of hoping that if they did attack, I'd have caught my breath enough to be able to properly defend myself. Only right when I do start feeling back to my best, the jibes from behind me stop, and when I actually look over my shoulder to see if they're still following me, I don't see a thing. Now, I don't want to give those little toe rags too much credit here, but having them just straight up disappear from behind me was legit unnerving. They really did just up and ninja out of sight somehow, and aside from a nearby tree line, there really weren't many places to hide. I scanned the dark spaces between the aforementioned trees for a minute or so, but didn't see anything obvious, and once I figured I was home alone— fuck. I kept plowing. Oh my god. Does Let's Read After Hours start after the stream? It could. Up in the Discord. Though I'm not like, I feel bad. I'm not like as active in the Discord as I feel I should be sometimes, but once in a while I'll jump in. Like usually what I do is I go eat. I feast upon the flesh of the innocent. Oh, wait, where was I? Fuck. Did you just shit your panties? I don't think so. Let me check them. Thank you, Steve. Took a big swig for me. Free chills. Oh yeah, I still need to post your art on my Instaslam for Inktober. Yeah, if anybody has any like art that they do of me. You guys get so anxious when I stop talking for a second. Daddy's— wait, am I disconnected or something? Or am I just— I think I was just reading something on a screen. You guys need constant stimulation. What I normally do is what I wish I could do is just, if I could just massage your temples whenever I stop talking, just so you know I'm there, just so you don't get scared. Yeah. I scanned the dark spaces between the aforementioned trees for a minute or so, but didn't see anything obvious. And once I figured I was alone again, I kept on walking back to my flat. But again, like some proper horror movie, there was once or twice on the way back that I thought I heard something rustling in the bushes nearby, or thought I saw something darting among the trees nearby. It was definitely unnerving, yeah, but I really did just put it down to my imagination. Besides, how psychopathic and predatory would these kids have to be to successfully stalk me through a park like that? They were drunk teenagers, not the offspring of Michael Myers. I thought I was just losing it, but in the end, I ended up wishing that was the case. Because right as I walked onto the streets where I lived, got to my flat and turned up the path, I heard footfalls scrambling behind me. I turned to look behind me and my vision just goes white. When I come to, I'm lying in my pathway, hearing the sound of glass shattering and teenagers screaming. I try to look up to see what's going on, but I can't see out of my left eye at all. It felt hot and sticky, and for a moment, I thought it might be altogether gone. That's when the panic hit me and I tried to bring myself to my feet, when another blow to my head from a foot or a fist sends me collapsing back onto the gravel. "That's what you get," I hear the squeaky little bastard— I can't say naughty words. "Stimulate me, Daddy. Uh-huh, uh-huh." Rub your third eye. Your pineal gland. Yeah, if you ever watch a Chills video, please do a hashtag free Chills. Free him from himself. He needs to transcend. Help, I'm being captive by my... by the prison that is my body. My voice is my final form. It felt hot and sticky, and for a moment, I thought it might be altogether gone. That's when the panic hit, and I tried to bring myself to my feet, when another blow to my head from a foot or a fist sends me collapsing back onto the gravel. That's what you get, I hear this squeaky little voice yelp. And now we know where you live. They didn't quite know where I lived. They ended up breaking the window of one of my neighbors, which obviously they weren't too happy about. But they did end up breaking my orbital socket, which kept me in a hospital overnight. But since the house we were in had no CCTV, and there was basically no witnesses who could identify the kids in question, they pretty much got away scot-free with it. But honestly, that wasn't even the worst part about it. A skull fracture was bad, sure, but that healed with time. What didn't get any better was these kids hanging around outside my flat for months on end, pretty much every night until the wee small hours of the morning. No matter how often we phoned the police and got them dispersed, there was pretty much nothing they could do about them coming back, and the more we called, the less they were interested in actually doing their jobs. I expected the kids to actually attack me again, but they didn't. They ended up doing some considerable more damage to my car once they worked out which one was mine. Not particularly scary, I know, but the bill for getting the scratches out of the paintwork was. It just grounded me down. It just ground me down over time, though, messing with my sleep, my mental health. Everything just slowly turned to bollocks. Yeah, I feel like I would get violent if those kids were just fucking with me nonstop. Messing with me and my mental, everything just turned. It just ground me down over time, though. Messing with my sleep, my mental health. Everything just slowly turned to torture after the attack. So I ended up moving out, and that did solve everything. And I know they're just teenagers, and I bet there's 100 of you sitting there like, oh, I'd have powerbombed that kid right then and there. You're just a little baby for letting them stitch you up like that, but I don't care. You get yourself into a position where these feral, bloody teenagers want your blood. Minds of children, but bodies of full-grown blokes. The fear is very, very real. That's what Jeffrey Dahmer did to his victims? What did Jeffrey Dahmer do? I feel like I missed something there. Turn them into meat pies. Turn them into foot lettuce. All right. We have done it, guys. We have read the stories. Suck any good toes lately? Not that comes to mind. Just all the same old ones, you know. Very dirty. Very piggy all the way home. Turn them into a full-grown baby pizza. Alright guys, let's read this outro. Shall we? Hey friends, thanks for listening. Click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. If you got a story, be sure to submit them to my subreddit, r/Let'sReadOfficial, and give and receive feedback from the community, and maybe even hear your story featured on the next video. And join my Discord to interact with me and other listeners directly. And if you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations for just $1 a month on Patreon, And maybe even pick up some Let's Read blah. Fuck. How do I fuck this up? And maybe even pick up some Let's Read merch on Spreadshirt. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all these stories in long compilation form and save... My voice cracked. You guys gotta think of something funny to say at the end. You gotta remember. Or not remember. You gotta say. See, that's what happens is, like, as I'm having a thought, I'm, like, reading. Do you ever, like, read and try to talk at the same time? You're just, like, can't... It's hard to do it. It's hard to do it. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all these stories in long compilation form and save huge on data. Located anywhere you listen to podcasts. Links in the bio. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, keep your piggies clean. Fluffy Foxy Fox Fluffo with the 2 says, have a mischievous night. Thank you. Drew says, stay safe, stay healthy, and always remember, stay hungry. I am going through puberty. Second puberty, just like second breakfast. Stay pog. To wear your pizza socks. Pizza sockies. But yeah, guys, thank you again for another amazing stream night. It is kind of sad how quickly they go by so fast. But, yeah, if you want to keep this party going, if you enjoyed all the nice people in chat, you want to keep up with that community, please join the Discord. Hopefully one of the mods can link that there. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at letsread.official, Twitter at letsreadcreepy, and of course, my meme page. We update it every day at hornycomputer. And, yeah, I'm going to get this audio nice and edited up for you over on the Patreon. It's only $1 a month for early access to MP3 files that you can download and take with you wherever you like over there. So I appreciate the support. But, yeah, keep an eye out. I'm sure Robin's cooking up a sick-ass trick-or-treat thumbnail as we speak, so I'm excited to see what he's got. But guys, thank you again just for being amazing and supportive and just a fun bunch of folks. I appreciate the love, as always. And Black Hawk Dahlia with a 2. Thank you for that. You guys are all full-grown pizzas in my heart. But, yeah. Hit that notification bell to be kept up to date with pretty much everything if you haven't already. But, yeah, hit me up. Let me know if you got any ideas for shit that maybe we could do here in the coming months, or stories that I can keep an eye out for, potentially do different topics and stuff. Or if you have a story, obviously send it to reddit.com/r/letsreadofficial, or email it letsreadsubmissions@gmail.com. You know the deal. You know what's good. But, yeah, guys, have a good night. Goodbye.